Hello and welcome to the studio. Today I'd like to let you in on a little trade secret that explains how manufacturers of expensive tools give their products their nice premium precision feel. Now I'm not sure about you, but I've always wondered why some of my tools just feel so much more precise and generally feel so much better than some of the others, even when they physically look so similar. For example, take these two ratchets. The ratcheting mechanism on this TrueCraft has a nice firm feel. In fact, it feels just as good as some of my more expensive snap-on tools. There's a satisfying click every time you turn it, but it moves just easily enough that I can get it to go one tooth at a time if I wanted to. In fact, these characteristics make this my go-to wrench when I'm working in tight spaces. In comparison, this similar looking Stanley wrench just feels sloppy and clattery. Internally, it has the same tooth count as this TrueCraft wrench, but it feels so much more reluctant to click over. And when it does, there's just something about it that makes it feel loose and imprecise. Or for an even better example, let's take a look at these two flashlights. These two flashlights are mechanically identical, from the design to the dimensions, and as far as I can tell, even the materials used in their construction. But the sliding adjuster on this bulb head flashlight gives a lot more feedback, and it makes it so easy to adjust the size of the beam accurately with one hand. While in comparison, this cheaper Lux Power flashlight is so sloppy and jerky that I actually need both hands to get this to go to the exact size that I want. So what's the secret? Well, it turns out that the difference between many expensive tools and their cheaper counterparts comes down to something as simple as this. This is a tube of Nyogel 767A. It's a specialty lubricant made by the Nye Lubricants Corporation. It's in the family of what they call damping greases. Damping greases, for those of you who've never heard the term, are lubricants that are specifically formulated to provide just a little bit of resistance, so the user can tell exactly what their tools are doing. They're also designed to maintain their viscosity and resist washout better than other greases, which allows them to maintain their properties for years. Cost-wise, at about $32 per 50-gram tube, this is one of the most expensive greases and lubricants in my collection. The good news is, you don't need very much of it. And in fact, this one tube will probably last me for the next 10 years. So to illustrate what damping greases do, let's take a look at this flashlight from before. So I'm just going to unscrew the cap here. Then I'm going to apply a thin layer of Nyogel damping grease to the inside of the barrel here. So let's get out my lovely black Q-tips. And let's get a little bit of this grease on here. Now this Nyogel is incredibly viscous. You really need to squeeze the tube to get it out. Okay, there we go. And just FYI, it's also very sticky. So you want to apply this to interior surfaces and make sure you don't get any of this on your hands. Alright, that should be pretty good. Now let me put the cap back on here. And we're going to work it into the flashlight just by moving this back and forth like this. And just like that, this cheap $8 Lux Power flashlight gives me the same feedback and the same feel as that more expensive $20 bulb head flashlight. Yeah, that's much better. Obviously this works for other tools too. So let's get out that ratchet from before. Let's see if I can get the mechanism open through here. So insert a flathead screwdriver here. Pull it over the top of the ratchet. Then you can just peel this off around the outside with your fingers. Then we're just gonna push the ratcheting mechanism out, and here's what these things look like on the inside. Now, go back to the Q-tip. Come on. Squeeze out more of this Nyogel onto the Q-tip here. And we are going to do the contact surfaces first. So, a little bit of this lubricant here. Around the edges, just like that. Also going to do this surface in here. And then I'll just rub some of this grease on the outside of the barrel like this. Now, just to make sure that this stays lubricated, I'll just put little spots of this grease. Not too many, just a little spot there, a little spot there, a little spot there. So now to get this all back together, so again, put this back in here, push the little pawl, feels better already. And now to get the snap ring back on, I take the side that I took off, put it inside the little groove like before, and just move my thumb around like that. And there we have it. A lot of the looseness and the clacking from before has been completely damped out by the application of the grease. And there's just enough resistance that I can click this guy over one tooth at a time. That's perfect. Okay. And finally, let me give you one last example. In this box here is a cheap set of Nyogel calipers that I got off of Amazon. I think they cost me about $22 total. As you might expect, the sliding and mechanism and the thumb wheel here is just not quite as nice as some of the nicer expensive calipers. So, let me just get a screwdriver here. And pop off this little stop screw. There we go. We're going to slide this all the way down. Then I'm going to push this little thumb wheel down here. And this is going to pop it out of its little groove. Just like that. And then once again, I'm going to use the Nyogel and I'm going to apply it to this little piece of plastic right out here. And we'll do both sides. There it is. Now we'll pop the thumb wheel right back on like this. Work it in a little bit. Alright, that should be pretty good. And we're going to slide this back in. Put that stop screw back. And there we have it. Well, that feels much nicer than before. Gives me just enough feedback and resistance that I can move this dial exactly how I want it to. In fact, these feel just as good as my expensive Mitsutoyo calipers. And those things cost 5 times as much as these guys. Well, I suppose that goes to show you that using the right grease can go a long way. In any case, that's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you at the track.